Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Elevate 2024 event. My name is Paul Croto, and I'm here with the absolutely amazing and beautiful Cheryl Morley.
Thank you, Paul. You always make me feel so good. I appreciate that. And I'm so excited to spend the next couple of hours with you guys and really getting ready to elevate 2024. I'm super excited about it.
Me too. And we've been, working and building this Elevate tribe for some time now. We've got we're up to almost 3,000 people in the group now, and we're building it like crazy. And it has become like our real focus for us, Cheryl and I, over or into here 2024. And we're super excited to kick off this year with this event. And really, this is going to be an event where we are recording this. So we'll have this available all year. Doesn't matter really when during the year you're watching this, it'll apply. And we're just ultra passionate about helping people improve their life. I just feel that people are struggling now more than ever. We read the things in the media about depression and this, we talk to so many people and they just feel like their lives aren't going in the right direction, they're I'm this age and I feel like I should be doing this and this and that. I feel like my life should be better and it's not. So what Cheryl and I did is created this amazing tribe of people who all just simply want to live a little better of life, and I know, Cheryl, this is a huge passion of yours as well.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, I think this is so important. And I think it's just because I didn't realize, I thought you were born who you are and that's it. And so I didn't realize that there was this wonderful thing called personal growth and all of the different ways that all of us can elevate our lives. And Paul, I was just what you were saying earlier, I think it's so fascinating. You were saying that people are really struggling, and I completely agree. I just heard this statistic, which is kind of weird for me to know a statistic, but it was so shocking to me that I was like, oh my gosh. And it said that 63% of people now do not think that tomorrow will be better than today. And I was like, oh my gosh, can you imagine thinking that tomorrow that's like who we are. That's like, as human beings, I really believe that you want a better life for your kids than you had, and all of these things. So I just find it fascinating that there's a real problem out there that people really don't believe that tomorrow will be better than today. And I just think it's so sad. So I'm excited, that we're all about Elevate, and that actually tomorrow will definitely be better than today. Right. So I love that.
Absolutely, Cheryl. And for those of you that don't know this, I'm a certified Tony Robbins trainer, one of the top 100 in the country, in the world, actually. And one of the main things we talk about is this leading with this belief that you can create the life you want. So we all have to go into this workshop today with that belief and understanding that the life you have now, you created this. Now, if you don't like where you are, we can change the actions, but understand that you can't be blaming the circumstances or this or that or that. And people get into this blame game on things that, well, this person did this to me, or this person made me feel this way. None of that is true. This has all been created by you. And we're going to do an exercise today that may make some of you, it's kind of like getting on the scale. It's something some of us been putting off because we just don't want to face the truth. But when we get on the scale, it's not making things any worse than it is or any better than it is. It's just the truth. That's the number you're at right now. And it is what it is. If you don't like the number, then we can take steps to changing that. But it's so important, Cheryl, to get that baseline score today. And it's one of the main things we'll be doing today.
Yeah, this is so exciting. I'm really, so as we go through this, and Paul's talking about a life score. So I'm super excited about that because, we have the health score. Now we're going to have a life score for each of us. But I want you guys to be thinking about this. And the question that you want to ask yourself as we go through this today, the whole thing is, do you want to live your life by default or by design? So I lived like so long by default because I didn't even know that you could design your own life, right? I had no idea that you could do that. So I love that question. And I love that your decisions determine your destiny. I just think that's exactly what you were saying, Paul, that all of us are where we're at because of us, because of me. I'm where I'm at because of me. You're where you're at because of you, right? Which is totally fine. But I love that we can change a few things if we want, and live a whole different life and maybe even a whole new life. So I love that we're gonna talk about that today and really set in motion a plan for 2024.
Yeah, it's our hallucination that maybe some of you have come to this event today and lived your life by default and just been like, hey, whatever happens, happens. Or like Cheryl mentioned, that I just thought my life was the way it is. And this is how I was born. And this is the family I was born into and the city I was born in. And this is just how it is. It is what it is, right? It's not that way. So like Cheryl said, we can decide, our decision determine our destiny. So we're going to make a lot of decisions today during this event and bring some real clarity to your life. But the whole theme of elevate your life, like maybe some people are new to this and they're not exactly sure where we came up with this and why we spell it so weird. But we have a foundational belief that nothing in life stays the same. Things are either getting better or they're getting worse every moment of every day. So people, we talk to people all the time. They say, well, my life's basically been the same, or my marriage has been the same, or this, but then all of a sudden we talk to them a couple months later and they're like, oh, all of a sudden this happened. There's no such thing as all of a sudden. This has been building up. You don't all of a sudden weigh this amount or, have this, get a divorce or have any of these things, bad things happen in your life. It's been developing for a long time. All that time you thought things were staying the same, but they're not. There's no such thing as that. So when you have that mind, have that knowledge up front that every moment things are either going down or up. So we got to figure out and be very intentional that which direction do we want to go? And I'm hoping today, one of the top decisions you make is that we're going to go up and really focus on just elevating a little bit every single day. And we're going to help you identify which areas of your life right now are kind of throwing you off of balance a little bit. So what's going to happen, probably, my hallucination is that there's going to be some areas in your life that are doing really, really well. And we're going to celebrate those and be grateful for that. We're also going to see that there's some other areas of our life that are kind of throwing our life off of balance. And we want to get you back to balance so your whole life is running the way it should, which is fantastic. So Cheryl, let's give an overview real quick about these 8 areas that make up the 8 in Elevate and why we're so focused on these 8 areas.
Okay, so if you don't know, some of you do know, but if you don't, we have an ultimate success system here, and it is plan, do, review. Okay, and there's a few things under each, but the plan is RPM, and that is what we're going to do today. So we're going to give you guys a bit of an overview now of what we're going to do today, and then jump right in and get started. So we're going to, RPM is the plan. So that's the results you want in your life. We're going to talk about the purpose or the why you want those things. And I love that. And you guys really, and we'll talk about this and like we said, it's going to be very interactive. If you guys have any questions, we're definitely here to help and support you on this journey. And then the third is the map. So the map is exactly what you're going to do to get those results. So
yeah.
that's one of the things that we're going to talk about today. Yep. We're
going to do all of that today. And we're also going to then spend the next 7 days. This is you recorded on a Saturday, so we're assuming you're watching it on Saturday. But what happens is we're going to spend the week doing. So we're going to come up with like Cheryl said, we're going to come up with a solid plan, a solid map of what to do this week, how to get these different areas of your life to elevate. And then next Saturday, we're going to be back here. And every Saturday after that to review. So as Cheryl mentioned, our ultimate success system here at Elevate Your Life is plan, do, review. So everything we do today, like as Cheryl said, is just the plan. We're going to spend 7 days doing it, and then we're going to review. We're going to go over the celebrations, the things that are going good, the challenges, the things that aren't going so good, and what small little changes you can make to make the next week better. So Cheryl, let's jump right into it.
Okay, great. So am I going to screen share? So you guys, and then we're going to do everyone needs a Google sheet.
Yeah, let me grab the share here. Share, copy link, and then why don't you do a screen share, Cheryl, so that people can see that what they're about.
Should I do the one that I already have pulled up?
The Elevate 2024. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Hold on one second, and let me find that. And I'm pretty sure this is it. Yeah. Oh, it would help if I push share. Okay, can you see that, Paul?
Yes.
Okay.
So this is gonna be what you're about to see when I put the link into the chat, which I just did. But when you do it, you can't actually edit anything on this. So Cheryl, could you please go to File?
Yep.
And then make a copy. So you're going to click on that and make a copy, and then name it Cheryl's ELEV8 2024. And then you're going to click on the green button that says make a copy. And then you'll have your own version. And we're actually going to do this together here in this workshop today.
Did everyone understand that? I like to make sure, because I have a hard time with these things sometimes. So you go to File. Once you click on the link that Paul sent in the chat, you're going to click on File, and then you're going to push make a copy, name it whatever you want, and then push the green button. Okay.
Everyone good?
All right, I'm going to say stop share so then Paul can share. Okay, and you have that in there. All right, perfect.
I see everyone grabbing it, so that's cool.
Yep. And I think, and as people come in, I think I'll just mention it, Paul, like whenever, just like so people can grab the Google Sheet.
Yeah. Cheryl, I mean, Becca, can you please make me a co-host?
No, Paul.
I gave her my host away. Jill says I don't see a copy. I don't see copy. So it's File and then make a copy.
Yeah,
Here,
you have to go to File.
I'll share my screen now.
Yeah, once you download the link that Paul sent. And you can show them that too, right, Paul?
Yeah. Yeah. So Jill, that link should take you here. Is that correct? Is you seeing the sheet? And then you can't do anything on the sheet. You have to go to File, make a copy. I think Jill said that there is no such thing as make a copy. Has everybody got it? Can you just type in the chat? Yes. Becca's got a yes. Okay, good. Okay. So now what we're going to do, Cheryl, is we're going to start. So this is a really cool interactive sheet. Once you make a copy, it's all pre-programmed. So you're going to see some really cool things happen as we fill out this sheet today. So we're going to start with, we talked about the 8 areas of life. So the first area that we're going to start with is body. And each area of life, all 8 areas, we've come down and we've created 3 different like subcategories under each category that kind of help us define how well we're doing in that area. And one of the things we're going to see here today is, as we go along, is these numbers appear here that will tell us the score of each of these 8 areas of our life. And we're also going to see something really cool called the life wheel. So this life wheel is going to show you the balance in your life. So if you can imagine a tire on your car spinning really well, it's round, your car is running well, things are flowing well. We're going to see what your tire looks like today when we're done with this exercise, which will be pretty interesting.
And that's right over to the right. That's where that wheel is. See where it says body, mind, spirit, state, career. It's right there to the right.
Yeah.
So
can you see it, Cheryl, or is it not showing up?
No, I can see it.
Okay.
Yeah. And as you click, as we go through and fill out to get your life score, then that will start moving, right? So the life wheel will start moving so that you can see exactly. And the thing I love about it, Paul, is it's like, so it's not, so my whole thing is I don't want it to be overwhelming and I don't want it to be too hard, because I just think that when that happens, people just don't do anything, right? You just say, oh, well, no, I don't want to do that. It's too hard, whatever. But as you click those, you can just quickly see on your life wheel, like right exactly where, where maybe you can work on for the next, next week or for the next quarter or whatever it is.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So it'll be very clear once this gets filled out here. So I'm super excited to do this with all of you. So at the top here, as you can see, we have current, which today happens to be 120. But I don't know when you're watching this. So it could be any date. It does not matter when current is, because it can be done anytime this year. we're assuming that you're doing this today and you have the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, and fourth quarter available to you, but maybe you're watching this on July 1st, which means you only have the 2 quarters left. So it doesn't matter. We can just fill this in appropriately, but we're going to fill this in the best we can today. So the first thing we're going to talk about, Cheryl, is a health score. Now, for those of you that don't know, Cheryl and I actually developed something called the Institute of Holistic Health. And we have certified thousands of health coaches to help people live this holistic lifestyle, which is what we're going over today in these 8 different areas of life. If you're interested in that, get back to the person that invited you here. They will explain what being a health coach is about. And it's really cool. So we'd love to have you. If that at all interests you, please get back to them and find out more about that. But even if you don't want to be a health coach like they are, you at least should know what your health score is. It's probably the most important number in your life. So what we've come up with is something called a health evaluation system. And what you do is you go back to your health coach and they will give you a link, and it takes about 10 minutes to fill out. But once you fill this out, you're going to get something called a health score. And from that health score, you're going to be able to score yourself in this category here. So if you haven't taken this yet, you can't really do this until you get back to your health coach and take it. Most of the people here, I'm going to assume, have taken it. And it doesn't matter what your score is. What matters is figuring out where your baseline is. So Cheryl, let's take a second. I want to play everyone a video here. This is Cheryl and I, so what happens in life is let's just say your health score is a 20 and it's been bothering you. So actually, this is a true story. Cheryl and I have joined Stretch Labs. So it's this company that's it's a franchise around the country that you go to and you take this test to see how flexible you are. And then you go to these classes, or not classes, but then you go and this stretching. It's not massage, but it's a stretch person that helps you become more flexible. So I go to this. I don't really know about this test, but Cheryl went first and told me about the test. So I go and I take the test and I get a 27. I'm mortified. Like I'm like Mr. Fitness over here. Okay. Like I'm Elevate Your Life. I work out 7 days a week, but I score horrible. I thought I was actually going to score like a 97, but it was a 27. But so I had to understand that it's just a starting point.
Yeah.
Who cares what the number is? I know where it is now. And I know that I was hallucinating that I was a stretch or a flexible guy. I wasn't at all. I'm not. So I'm working hard on this area to get better at it. But I want to play this video. It really changed Cheryl's life and my life on how we look at things in life, because bad things come up all the time.
The meaning we give it.
The meaning we give to things that happen. So this is the meaning I gave to getting a 27 on my stretch score here. Let me go. Oh, hang on a second. Let me stop screen share and make sure when I hit screen share and I go to this. Oh, I do have that. Okay, cool. So share, and I'm going to go full screen. And I'm going to start this from the beginning here. So let me know if you can. All right, that was super cool. So that's it's just an attitude, and Cheryl mentioned it's a meaning that we give to things. That when I had my stretch score again, it was 27. I said, good. Gives me a chance now to make that a priority in my life and make, I have this, the woman that was testing me, we're finished the score. And I said, well, I'm going to get to 100, And then so she goes, that's one great intention, but let's break that down into smaller intentions. So I was laying face down on the table. And there's a stretch where they grab your foot and they try to touch your ankle to your butt, which is how flexible your quad is. So I said, well, my new goal in 2024 is get my heel to touch my butt when you do that stretch there, because there's like a 6-inch gap at the moment here from that. So we all have things that we want to improve in our health, and we're going to talk about weight and dress size in a second here, but whatever your health score is, you put these 2 check marks here, or however many you have. And what you can see is the score here, or the chart here on the right changes. So that's going to happen as we go. So let's just go with someone who's got an average health score of 50. Now let's move on to weight. So weight, the cool thing about perfect, Joe, I know you were a little hesitant about using the word perfect, but what does the word perfect mean to you?
Yeah, I don't like to use that word because none of us are ever going to be perfect. But what we want you to think about when you think of the word perfect is just what you believe your potential is. So it's your belief of your potential. That would be perfect. So, you know, mine would be 142 pounds, right? Or 140 pounds. That would be my perfect weight for me. Right. And so you guys just have to decide, each of you decide for yourself what that is.
Exactly. So for me, and this is completely editable. So mine is 200. That's that perfect weight, which is exactly what I'm at right now. So now when I was at 205, I was excellent. When I was at 210, and I kind of just changed this chart here to make it so that there's 5 pounds in between each number. And, you know, it doesn't have to be 5 pounds. You can make it whatever number you want. This is completely up to you. I think 5 pounds was really worked well for me. And I know it works for most guys, but maybe if you're a woman, you don't feel like, but I know Cheryl, you even, I think it was whatever number 150 or something was average. And you said, yeah, I remember being at that. And I felt, you know, kind of like that wasn't horrible for me, but wasn't great, you know, so it was kind of in between. So
right.
we did it for 5s for you too, right? Yeah. Yeah. So
yeah.
It seems to work out well. So this is a time to do it. And then what all you got to do, and for myself, I 240, and yeah, I was at 245. Actually, I was over that. So you can check these things off as you go along. And
so you're going to check off all the ones until you get to where you're at.
Yeah.
That's how you do it. You check them, you check all the ones off until you get to where you're at as you go.
Right. So let's just say a lot of people are just not where they want to be with their weight. You know, we're just, especially this time of year, we have millions and millions of people.
We have to reload and recalibrate.
Right. Exactly. So again, this is just a result. It's just a number. It's a baseline. If it's not what you want, good. Time to focus on this.
You get to change it.
That's a good question.
Sure.
I don't understand the horrible, very poor below. You're starting from the bottom. So you're saying check all those off?
Yep. All the way up to wherever you're at.
So the check means that
you're done.
I met that level.
Oh,
like you're moving on.
Okay, you're going up. Okay, got it.
Yep.
Got it.
It's all about elevating. So I elevated. I was at 280 actually, but then I kept on checking boxes off, and I knew if I could make it to 235, could I make it to 230? Yeah, probably. And then I made it to 230. I'm like, I wonder if I could make it to 225. So I knew ultimately I wanted to get to where I am now, but I took it in 5 pound chunks, which were, you know, wasn't too much for my mind, didn't overwhelm me. And that's how I was able to achieve a perfect 10 now in this. But Cheryl, talk about the next one, dress size, because this is another one where you don't even need to put dress size here. We can put.
No, you could put pant size if you want for you men.
Yeah, pant size. I actually put waist size. My main
waist
thing is
size. You can put waist size. I think it's better for women just to have like a dress size. I don't want a waist size. I didn't want to do it like that. So I told Paul, I'm like, I want to do a dress size, because if I'm at a certain dress size, then that means that I'm at 140 pounds. Right. So all of these, you know, because
what was amazing was it's not just the weight, because we did all this research on weight and dress sizes, and there's no like, well, if you're this weight, you wear this dress size, because everyone's body's different.
Sure.
So I do like dress size, especially for women, obviously, because my dress size is a little bit different. But the dress size for you know, takes in your whole body into consideration. So it's not just your weight, it's you know, being in proportion. But you can put anything you want here. You can put waist size, dress size, pant size, you know, whatever, if there's something that matters to you in this category. And you can obviously edit all these numbers too. So perfect is not 6. So some people will say, well, perfect's 2. Some people say perfect is 20. It does not matter what you put in there. It's perfect for you. That's why I love, love, love the word perfect, because we all get to decide what perfect is. You know,
Yep.
my perfect car is a Lamborghini. Other people, perfect car is a pickup truck. I would never drive a pickup truck. I think the perfect house is, you know, a mansion. Other people want a house in the middle of Montana, in the middle of nowhere. That would be my worst nightmare in life. Okay. So
Okay,
everyone's different.
Leslie's hand is up, Paul. So let's ask Leslie.
Yeah.
What
Well,
are-
I'm confused about the dress size because
Okay.
it's going from 6 to 24. I've never been a 24. I don't even want that in my range. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So
Yeah,
why do I have to check off all these dress sizes?
you don't. You can just put whatever perfect is for you.
No, but it's showing that you are at a good. So you just have to check off 7 boxes to give yourself 7 points of moving up. It's a complete.
So I have to check them off to start with.
Yeah, you got to make this number. You know, so do you think you're good or great, or where do you think you are right now?
Well, right now I'm a 10, size 10, and I want to get to, well, I'd like to get to a 6. I've never been good at staying at a 6. I'm usually
Okay, so you're
an
at 10
8.
now.
Yes.
Okay, so you're great. So you're an 8. So you put off 8 check marks. What you put in
Okay.
these blanks here is kind of irrelevant, but we just went up by 2s because that's what dress sizes do.
Okay.
You may never ever been a 24, but you know in your mind now that you never want to go there for sure.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so this is like a starting point. You said to earn points or something?
Yeah, so you got 8 check marks and you know you got 2 left.
Okay.
So what this whole exercise is doing is 3 things. Number 1, it's establishing where am I right now? So we have established that you are great in this category. The second thing we've established is where you want to go, which is 10, which is a size 6. So we set a goal now. So it's knowing where we're at, where we're going, and what steps we need to take to get there. Now, don't think about a 6 is what we're saying. Think about 8. What is
Right.
the next milestone you have to reach? And when we get there, let's have a party. Let's celebrate that. You know, we don't just want to party when we get from 200. If I just partied from going from 245 to 200, I would have had one party. We want to have lots of parties in between and celebrations in there that I lost that 5 pounds. We want to recognize that victory.
Okay. Well, I really think I'm a size 9, but there's no 9 there. Just
But
saying.
you can put it in there. You can put that in there though, because you can change it.
Oh, okay. So instead of a 10, I could put a 9.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can put anything you want.
Okay.
Completely editable.
All right.
And you can also, you don't have to put 24. You can just go up by one size. It doesn't, that you can do whatever makes sense to you.
Okay, because that 24 is freaking me out.
Yeah, I
So-
would take it out. I don't like it either, but I ignore it.
Okay. Thank you.
No, this is a great learning moment here. So
Yeah.
Leslie sees the number 24 and the meaning she's giving to it is, I've never been
Pain.
that. That's disgusting. I don't even want that on my radar. But
Right.
what we want to do is say, I'm grateful that I've never been there before. I've passed, I've never, never had even accomplished that. So it's more of a celebration than something that's horrible. We're not
Okay.
putting it, what we're focusing on is where we're going. We're not focusing on the past. But I really want, this is something we do a lot of, Cheryl and I, is when somebody says something, we want to change that meaning immediately. And the meaning that I've been giving to things, every single thing in my life is a learning experience. It's not good. It's not bad. You go ahead and name something. I'll tell you, well, it's a learning experience. But now I like the word good. Good. Now
Thank you.
So now we can relook at that and look at it from a different angle. Karen had a moment, Hannah, for a second there.
There she is.
So if we've got values filled into those fields and we achieve those, like we get to perfect according to what we've input, can we then change the values if we want to go further?
Oh, yes.
That's what Elevate Your Life's all about.
Yes.
I'm glad Karen brought this up because in all these categories, what you thought, and we haven't got to one of these things yet, but let's just say we get to income. We're going to get to that in a little bit. You thought the most you could ever make was this number. That was a 10. Well, you got to that number and you're like, wait a second. if I got here, maybe I could get higher. So you can change, you can raise your standards, which is something we teach a lot about and we'll teach a lot about in upcoming over the year, is raising your standards, making that number higher, because all of this is just, you know, it's not about reaching a goal, honestly. What it is the person you're going to become to get to that level.
Right.
The person I had to become to get to this 200 pounds was completely different than the person that was 285. I had to completely rewire my entire brain the way I looked at things.
Yeah, which to me is the coolest thing ever, because your life score right now is who you are now. And as you continue to grow, all of us, as we continue to grow, then you become the type of person that sees things a little bit differently and can, and you grow to the type of person that can see your potential as even more than you can today, which I love. I think that I just think that it's so cool. Okay, we have another question, Paul. Karen. Scott has a question.
Happy
Hi.
New Year, everyone. I got on a couple minutes late, so I'm not sure if you mentioned this, but I have a group of 3 people that are being a part of the Y-Fest, and we're starting on Monday, and I wanted to know if I can incorporate this into the program.
Oh, 100%. You know, especially when you get someone that says, you know, so what we do is we say, you know, your weight's 235, Paul. Are you okay with that? And they say no. And then you ask, well, are you ready to do something about it? And they say, yeah, I want to change that. Like, I don't want a poor weight. I want to be at that 200. Great. Well, we just launched a new program, and then you go in, and that's how the door opens to talking about that program. But it comes up, you have to start with the score.
And we'll put, we have to start with the score, and then we'll put the YFAST program into the next part that we'll do, because that's one of the things that you will do. That's
Okay.
Part of the map.
Gotcha.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks.
we'll get,
And we're going to get to that.
Yep.
Okay.
So in this fake example that I'm doing here, the body score is 4. This is a person I made up. So let's just stop the screen share for a second here and look at the chat, or if somebody wants to chime in. What is your total body score? So what happened here is that it took the numbers from the 3 categories, it averaged them together, and gave you something called a body score, which is in the red. Oops, that's the wrong one. In the red section at the top. So if you could, I'm going to look at the chat here. You could type in what your body score in the red is for the current score. So this number right here.
Becca, I don't want to see a frowny face, Becca.
We just talked about this, Becca. It's good.
Oh my gosh, that's so cute.
9857. Okay, good.
Actually, I think Becca's might be higher than mine. Or I'm like right with Becca.
So here's the thing. It's where we'll get to more in other sections, but higher score doesn't mean you're better than someone, or a lower score doesn't mean you're worse than someone. Actually, in a lot of these categories, the 2 people in this room that are scored the least in these categories is Cheryl and I, because we've set the numbers so high for perfect. We want to achieve this unbelievable number. So, you know, it's all about what you think your potential is. So again, it's just a number. So is there anybody here that is confused about this or doesn't understand? Because once we get one done, we can get them all done real fast. But if you get confused on the first one, then you'll be confused on all of them.
Me, I'm confused because I've only just been able to get the thing to download to do
Okay,
whatever.
good. So you got it. So can you fill those in real quick, Bronwyn?
Because I was trying to do all that, I couldn't see what was going on, and I don't understand quite what I've got to.
Okay, so go to file. So did you make a copy yet?
Yes, I've made a copy.
Okay, perfect. So now what's your
I'll
health
do
score?
ones. Okay, so what do I
What's
do?
your
I put
health
what
score?
my health score is now.
Yeah, what is it right now?
It's just over 90.
Okay, perfect. So you're gonna put, show her, Paul. You're gonna put a, there you go. You're gonna click all of those buttons all the way up because you're excellent, because you have 90% on your health score.
Yeah, just go ahead and click weight excellent and dress size excellent, because I'm sure all three of those are over 90 for you.
Oh, I can't even, hang on. I've got to make it nice and big before I can even get it to go down so I can see the next thing. Now I can't see you guys. Sorry, I'm having trouble.
No, as you're working on that, what
negotiating
we want to do is we want to, for everyone else to set some goals here. So my health score right now is a 30. This fake person's score is a 30. So what we want to do is say at the end of the year, on 12/31's New Year's Eve, we want this to be a perfect 10. Okay. Now to do that, we have to set some milestone goals in between. So let's say we'd like to get it up to a 5 by the end of the first quarter. We'd like to get it up to a 7 here. Then we want to get it up to you know, a 9 here, and then finally make it to 10 by New Year's Eve. So
okay, I have another question.
Yeah.
My weight's not on there.
I know you can change it. Whatever number you want, you can put in there.
Yeah, we just put something in there for you. So you can put whatever you want. What's your
So
perfect
if I,
weight for you?
so what? Oh, I can change if I go into, I don't know, if perfect's right, but because it says 140. I'm
Yep.
119.
Yep. So a perfect score for you would be 120. And then the next one would be 125. And you just keep on going up 5 pounds. But you would check them all off, because I'm assuming you consider yourself at a perfect weight.
Well, my husband would be very upset if I get any less.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't want to make husbands upset.
Oh, so hang on. So where do I change it at the top?
Right here in the blank. I'm just writing in right here.
You can just type whatever you want in there.
Oh, okay. So I just changed the perfect to 120.
Right. You just click on it.
Yeah, I did that.
And then change it to 120.
I did that as well.
Okay, perfect. And then click and then check all those off all the way up. Because you're at a perfect weight.
You mean I put 120 at the bottom?
No, at the top.
Well, then why do I check all the other ones off?
Because you got 10 check marks. You got everything's perfect.
Oh, okay. So that makes a difference if okay. Now I'm
it'll make a difference. So you have to check.
I was never even that weight when I was pregnant.
That's okay.
I know, that's okay. That's a good thing.
Well, not,
all right, moving on. Let's do personal growth journey, because this is the one's a little more difficult now.
Thank you.
Yep. So hopefully we're all into personal growth. Maybe you've never even heard of personal growth before, though. So this is like, what do you mean personal growth? So what we're meaning is reading nonfiction books, learning things from people like Tony Robbins and John Maxwell and Brendan Burchard and Dr. Dispenza and all, we can go on and on, Jim Rohn. These are all people that are personal growth masters. So Cheryl and I have spent 30 years each working on personal growth. So and this is completely subjective. So if you're someone who hasn't really done personal growth in their life, I really haven't read nonfiction books and worked on myself, then you just put a 1 or a 2. You're just starting out. That's okay. As a matter of fact, here we can just put starting out. No big deal. But if you feel like, hey, listen, I do, an hour a day. I got my notebook out. I'm studying this. I'm a student of personal growth. I've been a student of personal growth for 20 years. You're probably, 8, 9, 10. But it's just how you feel about your personal growth journey. Now, we really don't want to compare ourselves to anybody else. This is not about comparing ourselves. However, I want to get some kind of baseline for myself. So I do look at the greats like Tony Robbins and John Maxwell, because that's where I strive to be. So how close am I to them in this category? So I, score myself a certain, great or good. But you have to decide for yourself where in this journey it is. And if you're caught between two numbers, like, Paul, I don't know what I should give, go less than more. Don't give yourself a higher score than, because we're trying to elevate here throughout the year. So if you give yourself a 5 now, like I'm kind of average, like I've been doing it, not as good as I should, but better than, I haven't been doing nothing. So let's just say it's a 5. And you want to get this to a 6 by this date, a 7 by this date, an 8, and then you want to get it to a 9 by the end of the year. So we just want to elevate 1 point a quarter.
So that's what we're talking about with the setting goals part, right? So you're going to say, where you're at right now, and then you're going to say, oh, well, by the end of the year, I want to be here. Just to give ourselves, just so we can kind of see and know like where we're headed and kind of give ourselves some milestones as we go.
Identity. You want to tackle this one, Cheryl? And mindfulness? I know you're good at these two.
Well, yeah. Where's the list of the 10 that includes your identity? Because of course we can start out with identity. Now, when we say identity, it's a whole bunch of things. It's actually who you are. It's the very best version of you.
So that's at the bottom of the notes, Cheryl.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
We're when we talk about the retreat.
Yeah. Okay. So identity is who you are. That's what I said. So it's everything. So it's the 6 human needs that you have and the order that they're in. It's the qualities, the thoughts, the beliefs, the values, what you associate. And you guys don't have to remember all this, but I'm just telling you what identity is so that you know. And you can look at it as the very best version of you. What you associate pleasure and pain to, the meaning that you give to things, the promises that you've made to yourself and to others, your standards, your state, the clarity that you have in your life, different areas of your life, clarity that you have, the certainty that you have, self-discipline, state management, and time management. So it's like literally everything in your life, and it's who you are.
Yeah.
That's what your identity is. Now, I just want to know, Paul, does that make sense to everyone?
Well, to make it simpler, because it's important to know all the things that go into it, as Cheryl mentioned. But really right now, what we're asking is, am I the very best version of myself that I could be?
Yeah.
Am I, because we think in our minds about the potential we have, and I feel that God has given me a lot of talents. I feel that God's given us all a lot of talents. Are we using those to our full ability? Am I going all out all day, every day, 7 days a week, 365? Or am I kind of moseying through life here? So, this might be like, yeah, I'm not doing bad, as far as my beliefs go. I'm not real hard on myself. I'm doing pretty well in life. So you might give yourself a 5 in this. I would hesitant for anybody to clicking a 10 on this, that you've made it to the absolute very best version of yourself. There's some people that'll be like, yeah, I'm like a 2 or 3 in this one.
Well, if we can continue to grow, then it's hard to be perfect. And that's, and that's the way that we look at it.
Yeah. I mean, we talk about, because I'm a Tony Robbins certified trainer and John Maxwell certified trainer. I guarantee you ask Tony and John if you're the best version of yourself. They're like, no. You know, and they've been doing this for 50 years. So, yes, Cheryl mentioned this is something that we're always striving to become better at. And I think, you know, this is again, this concept of elevate, where I don't even believe you can reach the best version of yourself, because this year I'm going to be a better version of myself than last year. And last year's version was pretty good. And then every year for the rest of my life, as long as God lets me to remain on this planet, I'm going to continue to become better and better and better and better every year. A better version of me is always coming out. But if I can always say I'm at the best version of myself right now that I can be, then I could click a 10 there. That doesn't mean that next year I'm not going to make it even better. Jill, tell us about mindfulness, because this was one that was actually confusing to me. It's a word that my mind can't really wrap around, which it should, because it's called mindfulness.
Well, really, I think that it's all about what's going on inside of you and taking the time to figure that out. So everything that you need, everything that you can become in life has everything to do with what's on the inside. So, and that's why we believe that meditation is so important. And it's really focusing, it's taking the time out to focus on what's going on inside your body. So a lot of times, and I think that's why it's so important. So there's a couple of ways that you can do it that we talk about. Meditation, journaling is a big one. And this is kind of the way that I decided to, or how I decided to score myself, was if I was doing those things that create like that peace and that slowing down long enough to do that meditation every single day. Because we know that everything that we can accomplish is going to come from inside of each of us.
Yeah, this is an area that I was not doing well in at all 5 years ago. And I've made it a must in my life, non-negotiable, to do the meditation every day, do the journaling every day. In the beginning, I remember I was just doing a 10-minute meditation and journaling for like 5 minutes. So I started off slow. Now I do at least an hour a day meditation, and I'm journaling all day long. It's just become the most important area to me. And I love writing things down. I get out of your head, get it on paper, and it just, some magic happens when you start thinking on paper. So this is something you've really got involved in, is meditation and journaling, then you're going to score super high in this. If this is something that you're like, I've never spent any time in those things, you're going to score lower in this. So in this hypothetical example, I'm going to put, you know, kind of couple scores here. I'm going to say the identity is about 50% here. And I already said personal growth was about average. So you can start seeing where the scores are here on the chart. And then my wheel of life is starting to fill out a little bit here because I got body and mind done. All right, moving on to spirit. So we have something called the vibrational chart that Cheryl and I have talked about in the past. We've done podcasts on this, and we're actually going to be doing, so we're going to be releasing all these different programs here with Elevate Your Life. So the main thing we're going to be doing is the Elevate Your Life retreat. And we're going to be doing virtual events that are called Elevate Your Life, which is just an expansion of what we're doing today. But then we're going to have all kinds of retreats and classes and ebooks and things out there on how to elevate your body, how to elevate your mind, how to elevate your spirit. Like every single area is going to have its own retreat and own course to it. So this is a big one for me, is the spirit part of it. I know Cheryl and I are just really passionate about this area. Not that we're passionate about all the areas, but this one has been something I've been working on literally my whole life. There's a great book out. If you don't have this book, called Power vs. Force, it's a top 10 book ever written in history. Everyone's got to have this book and understand this book and this vibration that we're giving off spiritually. So one of the things we're going to be doing is offering our services to tell you, if you don't, if you're not into muscle testing or never heard about that, we can actually let you know where your vibration is at right now. This is something you can actually measure, and something that I've become extremely good at doing over the years. And so I'll offer a service where I'll measure you once a month. And then Cheryl and I are going to have classes or a Zoom once a month where you just come in and all we're going to talk about is this one thing, which is your vibrational level and how to get that to move up and what are the things that are holding you back. So, but just as a feeling inside of you, you know, am I vibrating? Like, do I have a lot of anger? And this is something that we're talking about in average. So are there moments that we get angry in life? Of course. Are there moments that we have lots of love, joy, and peace in us? Yes. But where are you living at? Where is your home? Where do you come back to? So if you're always 24/7, 365, love, joy, and peace, like there isn't a cell in your body that has any anger in it or anything bad, then great, you got a 10 in this. Now, there's been Jesus and Mother Teresa and like 2 other people in history that have scored a 10 in this. So scoring a 10 in this probably isn't something that you start off with, but it is something you can work up towards. But you know, I will tell you right now that before COVID, the world itself was vibrating at 200. It was, and that was keeping things afloat. But right now, after COVID and as things have progressed over the past few years, we are now, as the world goes, at 100. We're at the worst place in history. It's never been this low before. But every single person that works up and gets it higher counterbalances this negativity. So this Elevate tribe, one of the main things that Cheryl and I want to do, or one of the results we want to produce, is people vibrating at a super high level where we can actually literally change the world because we are a force for good, that we are love, joy, and peace. And that's what this group is about. You're not going to hear any anger or anxiety or fear or shame or guilt or regret in this group. It is absolutely not allowed.
Well, and I think, Paul, too, that it becomes easier to move your vibration by working on your relationship with God.
Yeah.
Or your higher power, or however you want to say it, whoever it is for you, whatever your belief is for you. So I think that is something, and that's the next thing on our chart here is your relationship with God or your higher power, whoever you believe in.
Yeah. This is again very subjective.
Yes, very subjective. And the way I looked at this again is, am I doing the things that are going to help me with my relationship with God? What am I doing? Am I reading, am I reading scripture? Am I, and another way that I did it too, is I really thought about, am I acting, in a way that God would have me act, right? Am I kind? Am I loving to others? Am I not screeching when I'm driving? Am I, all of that, all of those things, I kind of took into
I thought your score was high. Let me get the score down.
No, sir, I'm doing much better with that. But just kind of being aware of where you're at, like with those different things. And there's other things too that go into that prayer. Are you spending some time in prayer? For me, that was something that was very important. So all of those things taken into consideration. And again, it's you're the one who's deciding.
Yeah. And everyone's relationship with God is different. Their higher power, whatever it is, but whatever it is that you have internal communication with, to a higher power is what we're referring to here. So, my beliefs that God has unconditional love for all of us, that it doesn't matter if you do bad things or whatever it is. It's always how good is that relationship staying and never edging God out. That's where ego comes in. And that's absolutely what we want to avoid is that. So no matter what's going on, good or bad, we never want to edge God out. We always want to keep that relationship with yourself and the relationship with God or your higher power is the most important relationship in your life. And moving on to gratitude. So, it's living with this attitude of gratitude. We're going to have we have huge conversations on this. And as a matter of fact, we're going to actually give you something for free that we use ourselves called this gratitude journal. So one of the ways to increase this score, and let's say, am I grateful? Of course I'm grateful, but how many, like throughout the day, how long does that feeling of or attitude of gratitude last? Maybe you got it for a little bit in the morning and then it's gone. I'm talking, if you give yourself a 10 in this, that means 24/7, 365. You are just grateful. That's the only way you can describe yourself. I am grateful all the time. All I can think about is how grateful I am. When you're vibrating at that level and living with that type of attitude, then you can give yourself a 10 here. But most of us are a little less than that. Maybe some of the time we are, some of the time we're not. But this gratitude journal here, I'm going to click on this. So on the bottom here, there's some different tabs. And one of the tabs down here is a gratitude journal. So we've set it up so that there's every day of the year here in 2024. And every single day, I write something in here. So today on 1/20, then I can just copy this and put this down here. I'm so grateful for this. And you can edit this here. For this ELEV8 2024 event. And all of wonderful people who attend it. Okay. Cheryl and I really feel like we're living on purpose when we do events like this. So we're so grateful for this. And I always want to end by saying, thank you, God, that I give all the credit to God for this. This isn't me talking. This isn't Cheryl talking. We really believe that God is working through us and guiding us through helping you. So we write in this every single day. I have journals, at least 25 years of journals of every single day writing in this and every single day finding something else to be grateful for. And I very rarely say the same thing twice. I always find something new to be grateful for.
Yeah,
So
a couple of things that I've learned about gratitude in the last little bit, which have been amazing. So first of all, we do talk a lot about manifesting, right? And about sitting down and envisioning and all of this. And one of the things that they found is that you really cannot manifest anything in your life if you're not grateful for what you already have. So
Yes.
that was one thing that was huge to me because I was like, oh my gosh. So literally, you have to be grateful for what you have no matter where you're at. And one of the biggest things you have to be grateful for, which I was just reading this, I thought it was so interesting, is showing gratitude for yourself, right? So I can show gratitude for so many things, but I never thought of showing gratitude for myself and that would be obviously, right? For me, that would be to God for, the body that I have. And I know Annalise has gone over this a little bit too. And then another thing that I just heard that I loved is just think for a minute that if the only things that get to show up in your life tomorrow are the things that you're grateful for today. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I told that to my mom, and my mom's like, I'm so grateful for this cooking pot. And I'm so grateful for these scissors. And so, but it was just so funny because we were thinking, what if you weren't great? What if it didn't show up in your life? Well, I'm going to say right now, I'm grateful for some electricity and toilet paper.
Yeah.
But because
Well, that's a definition of taking things for granted, is not being grateful for those little things.
Yeah, absolutely. So I love that. When I heard that, I was like, oh my gosh, that's so awesome to think about.
That's my favorite. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's something if there's an exercise to do daily, this would be the one right here. The gratitude journal. Just simple. I'm so grateful for this blank. Thank you, God. That's the whole thing. Takes like 4 seconds. Change your whole life. Okay, so you do that for consistently. Maybe right now you're a 4 because you haven't been doing that at all. But then you want to get to a 5, a 6, a 7, and eventually on 12/31 you want to get to an 8. Okay, so if we just can elevate 1% every quarter, look where we'd be. We go from a 4 to an 8 in 1 year just by filling out this gratitude journal and really thinking about that thing all day and living in that attitude of gratitude. Okay, so as you can see, our current health life score is going up. We have some milestones because as we've gone along the way, hopefully you've been filling these numbers in like I have. Actually, I did not fill these numbers in here. Wait. So I want to go from a 4 to a 5 to a 6 to a 7 here. And I want to go to a 5, 6, 7, and 8 here.
So as you fill them in, it'll let you know what your life score will be at the end of the year.
Yeah, it's just setting targets. It's setting a North Star that this is what I'm shooting for. And when you do this, your mind starts focusing on that. Where focus goes, energy flows. So now I know my current score is this, but I'm focused on where it's going to be on 3/31 because of the actions I'm going to be taking. We're going to go over that in a minute here. All right, moving on to my favorite topic of the day, which is emotional state. Okay, now, how long does it take to change your emotional state?
I want you to put it into the thing. Wait, Paul, don't tell them. I want them to tell us. Because I was like a little bit wrong on this. So what do you guys think? How long do you think it takes?
Yep, everyone's pretty good.
Everyone's really good.
Yeah.
I was like, this is going to take me a minute or 2 or 5 or 10. And Paul's like, no, Cheryl. I'm like, oh.
Yeah. Well, so this is going over an hour. This is going to be 2 hours, but basically every hour. And there's times where Cheryl and I work and we get on a jam session and it's a little bit longer, but I work from home, obviously. And I have this trampoline, which I will put a link to it. I think everyone in the world should own a trampoline, one of those rebounders, get the energy back into you. Because I'm good. I'm 10. And then I start falling. You know, I'm at an 8. I'm at a 7. Cheryl's like, why don't you take a couple minutes, Paul? Because I see you're not quite at 10 anymore. But I know the songs that put me at 10 in 1 second. And I know the rebounder and the song. I'm ready to literally run through a wall within 3 minutes. It's usually how long the song is. But I can go from a 7, 6, 7 to a 10 in 3 minutes. And there's, so not only did I've gone to Unleash the Power Within many times, but I train at Unleash the Power Within now. So if you want to master this area, you've got to go to that event. There's nobody that does it better than Tony Robbins. And it's the thing that makes that moves me so much about this event is that it's called Unleash the Power Within. This isn't something we're going outside and creating or designing or anything like that. It's already inside of you. You're just not letting it out. So but it's not just going to the event, because Cheryl and I know thousands and thousands of people have gone to the event and they don't necessarily continue that after the event. So one thing that we're doing here in the tribe is to fill that gap of, okay, I went to the event. Now, how do I keep this up? And what you're going to see from Cheryl and I is a 10 state every single day. This is where we live. This is our home. So when we talk about state, we're really talking about 2 things. So we're talking about the emotions that we have, this excited, this passion, So this, at the bottom of this emotional home, now we're talking about emotions here. And again, not where, of course, there's sometimes we're super excited, sometimes we're super sad, but where do you live most of the time? Where's your home? Where do you come back to? So, when you look at people and you're just going out in public, and this is something that Cheryl and I both do, is we love to say hi to everybody. Like if you come within 3 feet of us, you're getting a hi. And it's so amazing how many people don't say hi back to us. Right, Cheryl?
Yeah.
It's just like they're living in their own world and they're just like in this. The depression now is at an all-time high. I just heard another stat about children too. Some ridiculously, I thought it was like 80%.
It's worse than adults. It's worse than adults.
Yeah, scoring, 2 or 3 in this emotional home. It's so unbelievable, but you get to choose where you are in this. Nobody makes you feel anything. It's the meaning you give to that that is creating the emotion we're feeling. So I just choose my favorite word in the world is bliss, because it's being happy and oblivious to everything else happening around you. I do not care one iota what's happening around me. There is 6 feet of snow outside of my house right now. I could be in a state of absolute misery right now, but I'm not. I'm here with all of you, having a great time. It is 7 degrees outside. That's cold, okay? But I'm not focusing on that. I'm oblivious to it. I'm focused on all of you in my life, and this is where I choose to be. It doesn't matter who's president, what the temperature is, what's going on around me. None of that matters. What matters is where I decide to keep my emotions at. Now, one of the greatest stories I've heard from Tony Robbins is this story of this couple who go into divorce counseling. These 2 people are ready to get a divorce, but they're going to give this one last ditch effort and go see a counselor. So the counselor turns to the man, the husband, and says, on a scale from 1 to 10, how much do you love your wife? And the guy says, a 10. I love her. Every cell in my body, I love her. The divorce counselor turns to the wife. On a scale from 1 to 10, how much do you love your husband? Well, he's everything to me. It's a 10. So divorce counselor's like, well, why are you guys sitting here if you're both at a 10? 10 love. It's because of this. The emotional energy is at 1. So it doesn't matter if this is at a 10. Look at where the score is. It's 5. Now you got to translate 5 is like a 50%, which you fail at. If you have a 5, you fail in life, in marriage, in business, in anything. 5 is not good enough. People don't pay for average. People don't stick around for average. Now, what I want everyone here to tell me, I want you to explain this couple to me, who have the same 10 love, but also have a 10 energy going. Those are the people you're saying, those 2 need to get a room. That's ridiculous the way they're acting towards each other. All over each other all the time. Super happy, excited all the time. They're like this. It is just passion, passion, passion. That will always last. But as soon as you bring this energy level down, it does not matter how high the emotional home is. Now, tell me about this person whose emotional home is angry and frustrated, but their energy is at a 10.
Well, that's really bad.
Yeah, that's called a riot, okay? It's a rioter. When you see those people on CNN throwing bombs at people, and that's what they're living at. They got a lot of energy, living at a high energy level, but it's all bad energy. That's not good either. You want to be at 10 emotions, 10 energy. That's what Tony Robbins describes as a peak state. In a peak state, you can do anything. And we talked a little bit about, for some of you are holistic health coaches, we talked about taking action and being in that peak state. If you're not in that peak state, it's just, if you got no energy and angry and frustrated, you're not getting much done. It's just the way it is. And you can decide this, but right now you have to ask yourself, okay, on the average, where is my energy? Most people that Cheryl and I deal with, would you say, Cheryl, a 4?
Yeah.
And how many people are living in this angry, frustrated? And even if I give them some credit that they're living in stress and overwhelm, that's still a 4. So their emotional state is a 4 for most people. This is just something you got to be honest with yourself. We're not looking to make this less than it is or more than it is. We want to find out the truth right now. Where do you think these 2 things are in your life? And in this area here, there's only two things. As you may have noticed in other categories, there's three things. But in this emotional state category, there's only your emotions and your emotional energy. And does everyone understand the difference between those two? So
I have a quick question.
yeah.
When I went to save my copy, it changed all the little boxes to true and false. You know, where you check off the little boxes, they had like, instead of the little box with the check mark, it had true, false, false, false. I mean, apparently still keep a score, but for some reason it changed it.
Yeah. I'll get with you personally to see what's going on, but this Google Sheet should not have done that. It should have, unless you change something else, you may need to copy it again. I don't know if you.
You know, I did the first copy and apparently I didn't save it. And so when I tried to go back, so I made another copy and this time I saved it. And when I opened up the files with the save file, all the little boxes became true and false statements.
Okay. Okay. I'll help you afterwards and fix that.
Okay.
It's a super easy fix.
All right, thank you.
Okay, moving on to career, Cheryl.
Okay, so this is the way you look at this is, are you living on purpose? Right? It's either yes or no. No is horrible, yes, and then in between would be working towards your purpose. So you could be living on purpose, but there's always room for growth, right? There's always room to grow, to be even better, more, helping more people. Because when I say that, that's what I mean.
Cheryl, I know we were talking earlier this morning or yesterday about this, and there's people who maybe they're a school teacher and they really feel like this is something that is their purpose, or they're doing something that they love, but they also think there's something higher purpose for them.
Yeah. Yep. So it's working towards your purpose would be average.
So let's say a lot of people are there. What about impact show? What does that mean?
Impact is the amount of people that you're having an impact on, or the impact that you are creating in your life. Where do you feel like you are? Like how much impact are you having in other people's lives? And as a holistic health coach, that could be pretty doggone high.
Yeah.
And then fulfillment is, how fulfilled do you feel in the life that you're living right now?
Yeah, Tony mentioned that success without fulfillment is ultimate failure.
And we've seen that a lot, Paul. We've seen that a lot.
Yeah. So what Cheryl and I want to do is not just be successful, but we want to feel fulfilled by helping all of you. Now, we do that through making an impact. We want to make an impact on your life and show you how to elevate your life every day and really move things up. So, you know, it isn't odd for people to not feel fulfilled. You know, you see people maybe at their jobs, they don't feel fulfilled at their jobs, so they volunteer for different things out there. You know, so they get that feeling of fulfillment inside of them. But as Cheryl mentioned, being a certified holistic health coach and helping people improve their whole life and especially their health makes you feel extremely fulfilled. So there's a lot of professions that do make you feel like you're having a big impact on people and also make you feel fulfilled. So again, we want to fill in, and I missed a couple here. So let's say my emotional home is 4, and I want to get every quarter, I want to elevate it by 1. So I'm going to fill these numbers in here.
The thing that I think is most exciting, Paul, is that every single person, you know, as we do this together as a community, I mean, your life is going to change. It's going to be unbelievable. You may not even recognize the person that you're becoming. And maybe you won't even feel like, oh my gosh, I'm so much different, or I've changed so much, or I've elevated so much, but everybody else in your life will see it. we'll see it like in the community too. So
Can
I
I
love
ask
that. I'm
a
super
question?
excited about that.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Yes.
In the fulfillment section, can you feel fulfilled in this respect, even if you don't have a lot of clients that continue to follow the protocol you give them?
Yeah, this
Yeah,
isn't
like
the impact and
I
fulfillment
feel
isn't
really
based on a
awesome
number.
that I help people, and the ones that take note and actually follow my protocol, but most of them don't.
That's fine.
And that's makes me not feel fulfilled. But so this is a real tricky one. I mean, others might feel the same, that they're fulfilled in what they do. I love what I do, but I love it even more when they follow the protocol and get changes.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
I mean,
I'm struggling to know how to answer this one.
yeah, and I love this. Reminds me of a John Maxwell story. He always asks people, "How many here have bought one of my books?" Because there's 10,000 people in the audience, and every single person raises their hand. And he goes, "One thing I would never ever ask, is how many people have read my book, one of my books?" Because now only like half the room goes up, because people buy books but never even read them. And he goes, "I would never, ever, ever, ever ask how many people have bought the book, read the book, and actually done something from the book and applied that to their life." Because now we're talking about 3 people in the room. So it's about writing the book, getting the book out there, and he feels fulfilled. He's not judging his fulfillment on the fact that, human nature is going to be a certain way. Yeah.
If you're reading
So I could put a high fulfillment because I'm putting it out there. I'm talking to people, whether they take up the offer, whether they follow the protocol.
Well, you want to have some stories. Can you point to some, even if it's 2 or 3 people that, hey, I did what you said, and I took these products, I followed your advice, I followed this, and you changed my life. Like Cheryl and I have those people, so we can say that, wow, look at the impact we made on those people. We've done that.
I have those people.
Yeah, so you got to focus on the success stories.
Nowhere near as many as you two, but anyway.
No, but it's all relative.
you
it
just
doesn't.
haven't done it as long as us, Bronwyn.
Yeah.
You're on your way.
Okay, so yeah, I just was struggling with how to do that.
Absolutely. All right, now moving on to finances. So we should have some. I'll put the numbers in here for this. So this is fulfillment. I want to move up from a 3 to a 4 to a 5 to a 6, and eventually on New Year's Eve be at 7. So just a little progression there with that. And then move on to finances. So finances, this is perfect finances. This is probably the most individual score you'll ever see on this chart here. Everyone's going to have a different number. There's people on here. Elon Musk's perfect would be $2.3 trillion. I mean, that's it's a crazy number he's going to have. Okay. Most of us are not going to have that high of a number, but it's all relative who you are. And this is, again, I love what Cheryl said at the beginning of this call. She said that perfect is the potential you feel like you can reach. And
it will change. At the end of the year, it'll change to be something more, because you will have grown into that person that believes that you can.
A lot of people are going to put 100,000 per month. I'm sorry, per year. And if you want to do it per month or per year, whatever your brain, doesn't matter what you put down here. And then you just kind of back this off. So if 100,000 per year is perfect, what would feel excellent to you? And it doesn't have to be 5,000 less or 10,000 less. It could be whatever you want. Maybe excellent would be 80,000 a year. And great would be, I don't know, 50,000 a year. Whatever the number is, they don't have to necessarily go in a set way. Maybe, I would never want to make less than 20,000 a year. I would consider that horrible for me, for whatever, number you put. What would you consider to be a horrible income? something you never go below. And then, of course, you know, filling in, once you do that, you want to move up and say, okay, well, I made it to this number. So the average income out there, and I'm just going to use the number that, so the average American makes 57,000 per year. That is, so they would put a 5 there. Now, maybe their goal for perfect would be 100 or 200 or 250. I don't know whatever they'd say, but I can just tell you where they're at now, and then you have to decide where you want to go. But Cheryl and I do not take into consideration what the average person makes. That is irrelevant to us and should be irrelevant to all of you as well. It's what you consider to be a 5, what you consider to be a 10.
And remember, think of what you believe your potential is.
Yeah, shoot high, but don't shoot so high that you're like, your brain's like, you'll never do that.
Yeah, like your brain thinks your brain has to be like, yeah, that sounds, I feel like.
That would be a stretch, but I could do it.
Right. Okay, savings.
I have a question on that.
Yes.
Would that be, are we just looking at the money we want to make in the business or our overall income?
Overall income.
Okay.
Go ahead, Cheryl.
Okay, savings. How much do you have in savings? How much would you like to have in savings? Right?
Now you have to think of this in terms of, most people want to retire at 65 and you know, you can live to be 85 or 95. So how much money would you need to live for 20 years without earning an income? Now, many of you have created businesses where you'll make an income forever. So this doesn't apply as much to you, but my point is that this savings number is probably a lot higher than people are going to put. It needs to be in the millions.
Yeah, if you're going to completely retire and not do anything. Okay, so there's savings. You guys check that. And next we have debt.
Now, this is one that's not open for discussion a whole lot because obviously perfect would be having no debt. So this is a super easy one. It's going to be the same for every single person here. But Cheryl, talk to us about debt. What is debt? Or what are we going to consider debt here?
Yeah, so we're going to consider, I don't consider debt. I personally, and it's up to you, I don't consider debt being a house payment or car payments because we all have those and we will have them. Now, if you pay it off, fantastic, wonderful. So, but you guys can do it how you want. But credit card debt, if you have student loans, any debt like that, that's over and above, for me, a house and a car. Anything over that, then I'm going to say is debt.
And obviously, you know, electric bills, those kind of things are not debt, they're bills. We're talking about credit cards and loans.
Yes. Okay, Paul, do you want to mark all those so that we can, so that you just make sure you have them all?
Yeah, most people, I think, are going to put a very low score in savings. And debt, unfortunately,
might be
bad.
A little low. Yeah.
This is the all-time high in history for credit cards.
Yeah, credit card debt.
So this area is probably, you know, so I'm going to put finances as a 3 for this fake person I'm making up. But I would venture to say it's a 3 for most people in the world.
Yeah, we just have to work on it. Yep, we just have to know where you are, and then we work on it.
So I want to get my income up here. 1% a quarter. Savings, I want to work on this. And my debt, I want to move up from all the debt I have and move up. Now, that's weird because the top number is not a high number, it's 0. Just want to point that out there. Okay, Cheryl, lifestyle.
Yay! I'm excited to be the lifestyle. Okay, so this is home. The first one is homes and cars. Okay, so this is where are you? Do you have your favorite car of all time? Or is that something that you can work on? Or do you have one home? Would you like more than one home? Obviously, this is going to be different for everybody, but it's just for you. Think about what your potential is and think about where you're at right now. And maybe even think about where you'd like to, go in that direction. Would you like more than one home? Would you like, would you like a nicer car? Would you like all of those things? So that's what you're going to think about with the home and cars. Do and buy what you want. So be able to do what you want. And think about what that is. Like, I would love to have box seats at every single sporting event. Like, I think that would be the coolest thing ever. Right. And so that is when I think about do and buy what I want. That's what I think about. Like, how cool would that be? Or to just be able to say, oh, I want to go to the Super Bowl. Well, Super Bowl tickets are $25,000 a piece. I won't be going to the Super Bowl, right? Because that's not where my focus is right now at all, right? But just so you know that these are kind of some of the things, and everyone's going to be different, right? Everyone is going to be different. Your perfect is going to be different than everybody else's, and that's fine. Just where are you at right now, and what is your potential?
Yeah, but we hear, we see people that, and then we'll go into travel next, the quantity and quality. People are taking staycations, not vacations, because they can't afford to go where they want to go. But if you could go, take your family to Europe I want to go visit Bronwyn in Australia, and I'm supposed to be there with her watching the Australian Open. Unfortunately, I'm not doing that right now. So that's, I'm not going to score high there because I want to be able to, as Cheryl mentioned, fly wherever I want, my own plane, and do these amazing things. And I don't think the Australian Open tickets for this Sunday or next Sunday are that cheap.
No.
But yeah, then I'd have to make it back to the Super Bowl to see the Bills win, which, as Cheryl mentioned, are $25,000 seats a piece. And so we're blowing some money here in January and February, early February on events and plane tickets.
But again, it's what you want, what you believe, and everyone's going to have different goals and dreams, and that's fantastic. We just want to get a baseline, so that's what we're doing.
Yeah, maybe you hate travel. You're like, oh, I really don't like it, so I'm already an excellent in that.
Right.
And so. But most people, I think, love to travel. They don't get to travel the way as much as they want, and they don't get to stay in the kind of places they want to stay. You can't pick the best room. You got to pick something less because that's what you can afford. You can't fly first class because that's not in the budget. So all that falls under here. Moving on to my favorite topic, which is relationships, family. Now, family, we don't get to pick, unfortunately. But we have to make it the best we can. So you have the ability to say, I'm going to make the relationships with the people in my family the best they can be. Now, relationships are a tough one because it isn't just about you. A relationship means that there's two people involved here. So, I do the best I can with my family. I go out of my way. Cheryl goes out of her way. We're aware of this. We want to make these relationships as good as possible. We like to get perfect. Do I wish I spent more time with my family, and my mother lives all the way out in Tampa. So I try to get out there as much as I can and to visit her, and I call her as much as I can. There's, so we look at all the relationships in our life with our children, with our, all that's considered family. So you have to decide overall with my family, how good overall the relationships. And this is going to be difficult because, I have a great relationship with my mom, but my dad, I don't, or, my aunt, I don't, or I'm not seeing this part of my family enough. I'm seeing this part of my family a lot. So I understand this, again, a difficult thing to score on, but overall you just, and again, we're looking to elevate. So, if this is a 7, I can get this to an 8, to a 9. And then my goal is to keep this at a 10, once I can work towards this. But this is something I'm becoming aware of that I want to work on. Friends, peer group. First of all, you got to ask, do I have the type of friends that I want? Now, throughout high school and college and then Marines, I had great friends. I mean, these guys are unbelievable. They're awesome. But they weren't necessarily the people who were going to elevate my life to the level I'm at now. So I had to kind of change friends as I went along and become super great friends with Cheryl and people like her, that I knew I had to surround myself with people like Cheryl in order to get to the level that I want to get to in life, because your peer group will make or break you. That is why we created the ELEV8 tribe. We want to create an environment for people who aren't in a great environment at their house, you know, or with their peer group now. I'm not saying anything's wrong with your friends. They want to go out and drink and party and have all this. That's all well and fine here and there, but you have to be around a group of people that want to elevate. And just nothing against my high school friends, my college friends, the Marines. They're not necessarily super focused on elevating. They're very focused on having a good time. So I had to find people who were more focused on this. So I have done really focused on this and got to a level where this is great. And Cheryl and I realized this is going to be a weakness in a lot of people's lives. So we created this ELEV8 tribe. So there's a place you could turn to for people who are ultra focused on getting better and supporting other people, people you can lean on when you're struggling.
Okay, last one, marriage.
Wait, I want to say thank you for this tribe, because you guys rock and you make my day just awesome. I look forward to these calls with you guys, because, you know, I live in the country and most of my friends are very negative. So I love hanging around with you guys. So thank you.
Yeah, that's great. And we love to hear that, because there's a lot of people that fall into, you know, your situation where you're looking for a group of positive people to be around on a daily basis. And we want to be that place for you. So thank you for all you've contributed to us too, because it works both ways.
Oh, thank you.
So we save the best for last. The most important one is your marriage's significant other. There's actually a great quote by this gentleman named H. Jackson Brown Jr. And there's a book out there called P.S. I Love You. And it's a book of quotes. It's like from his mother. And it's a beautiful book. I can't recommend it enough. It's like $10 to buy. And it's just a book of quotes of different things his mother told him as he was growing up. But one of the quotes was that it says, to marry the right person, this one decision will determine 90% of your happiness or misery in life. So
yeah,
this
that's
can
why
be...
Karen is happily single.
So this can make a big difference, you know, in your life. And it takes two people to make this work. So, you know, this is something that you'd have to decide, like, where's my relationship at now? And we have an entire retreat plan on how to help couples make this a 10. And it can absolutely be done. Again, it takes two, but there's certain things that go into this formula of producing this amazing relationship between two people. And most people, you know, the average marriage, 50% of marriages end up in divorce. And there's a lot of reasons for that, but you have to decide in your life where this is now. And we're going to come up with a map in a minute here on how to make this better. But unfortunately, this scores extremely low for most people. And when you ask people, who do you know that has a 10, they can count that number on one hand. So it's far and few between people who actually figure this area out. But the ones that do have so much, you know, people think, oh, all the happiness comes from making money or, you know, other things on this sheet here, when at the end of the day, and I really love, you know, talking with older people, you know, people in their 80s or 90s that have been married for 60 years or 70 years, and just the connection that they have together and how they've leaned on each other, and, you know, such a support system they've created between the two of them is just the most beautiful thing out there. So I love studying success. I love studying modeling people who have been successful at this and how they did it and what goes into it. So super excited about our Elevate Your Marriage retreat that we're putting together and making this this score go up. And sometimes, unfortunately, what that means is I think picking your partner is if marriage is 90% of your happiness or misery, then 90% of your decision is picking the right person. Because you pick the wrong person, this is not going to end up well. So we'll talk more about this when we get to MAP, but this is something that everyone needs to decide, you know, where it's at right now and what are the next steps to making it better. All right, let's go. I'm going to fill this in 2, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So now what we get to do is go back up and see our life score. So right now we're saying that the life score for this particular person is 4.2, which when we look at what a 4 is, it's below average, which is fine. There's no, it's, again, Cheryl and I just said good. You know, it's just a result. Actions this person has taken, they've gotten to this level. And we want to be at a 4.8 by the end of this. So it took all these numbers into consideration and said, if you do the right things, you can be at this number by the 31st of March. By halftime, July 1st, you could be at 5.8. You could be at a 6.7 by the end of September. New Year's Eve, you're at a 7.6. That's a good score, 7.6. But this is about elevate, getting better. Okay, so we look at the wheel now. So this is how well this person's wheel is turning. You can see that, you know, okay, these aren't bad. Then you got body, it's not good. And then you got finances, not good. You know, there's certain things that are not making this wheel round and not having a balanced life. So this person needs to focus more on their body and more on their finances. Would be the 2 areas I'd recommend it. And then it becomes very clear on this chart also that body and finances were the 2 that they scored the least in. But everyone's going to be different. Maybe body is your strength. You know, relationships is your weakness. Okay, Cheryl, let's move on to RPM now.
All right, perfect.
So at the very bottom here, there's going to be a little tab you just click, and now we're actually going to set results for each one of these areas. So the cool thing is we've already done this. So it's so happy and grateful that I have scored a 10 in body. My health score is 100. My weight is this number. And my dress size or waist size or whatever you picked is this number. It's just a super simple statement that you're going to write here about your body as if it already happened. So now we're going to get into manifestation and the mindset behind thinking as if it already happened.
Yeah. So this is the result you want. This is the result that you want. Let's just say at the end of the year. So you want to, or no, that you want to reach those, the goal that you've set on the other page. So on your life score, we know already, well, actually for all of them, what the perfect 10 is, right? And so you're going to write it like you're already there, like you've already done it. And then we need to know why you want that. Why do you want to have a perfect health score? What and I love that Sarita put in there earlier, she put toned, right? She wants a toned body. That's what, so then she would put, that would be a purpose. I like that because because I feel strong when I'm this weight and, and this dress size, I feel strong. So you just have to come up with what the why is, and make sure too, when you guys are writing the why, I mean, everyone says, oh, the why makes you cry. The why just has to pull you towards that goal that you've set.
And the why, so Cheryl and I believe in this statement that energy derives from both the plus and negative. So if you have all of us is a car and a car battery, and there's 2 things you hook up to it, and one's positive and one's negative. I have this 9-volt battery on my desk at all times to remind me of this, that you have to attach both the positive side and the negative side in order for this thing to work. So you get just as much energy from negative things as you do positive things. So one of my things I put under body is I hate looking fat. I hate it. I hate looking at pictures of myself where I look bad. It's the worst thing in the world. That drives me like nothing else. Now, of course, I have pictures of how I want to look. That also pulls me. But pictures of me when I look bad push me. So it's okay to be pissed off about something, because that will drive you. Anger will drive you. So it's not the worst thing in the world. We don't want to live in anger and have that be our driving emotion, but it can get you pretty far. So now we have 3 reasons why we want this perfect health score and this weight and this dress. We have to talk about what's going to get us there. Everyone's got a different situation going on, but I can tell you that everyone needs to be taking their supplements every day. Everyone needs to follow, I need to follow my meal plan.
The Y fast would go here.
The Y fast would go here. I need to exercise every day. I'm one of the main things I'm doing for my body is working on my stretching, because my stretching score is so damn low. It can be, Cheryl and I do the cold plunge every single day, something we do for our bodies. That gets our score up super high. So what is it? What are the top 5 things that you're going to do that you believe will impact and move you closer to this result? We want to do this for each area. So for our mind, what do we want to get? So we just go back to life score, go back to mind, and say, I'm so happy. I'm sorry. The statement was, I'm so grateful and excited that I have increased my personal growth journey to a level 10. That I finally became and living at my very best version of me. And I worked so hard on my mindfulness. I meditated and wrote my journal every single day. And now I feel so good about myself. And in what's the word you would use, Cheryl? In touch with yourself? Or, and I know you mentioned mindfulness, and
Well, I think it's peace and calm, right? I think it's peaceful. And I think for me, it's that I have peace in my life and that I'm calm. And another thing that comes in with my mindfulness too is breathing exercises.
Yeah,
so there's all sorts of different things that you can do. So so for me, so mine would be like breathing exercises. It would be meditation, journaling, which I think journaling is super important.
Brings a lot of clarity. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you can do like different kinds of meditation too. You can do a walking meditation, or you can do a so there's different things that you can do, but it's whatever you want to do that you believe will help you get to that perfect score.
Absolutely. So we're going to write the result statement just like we did up here. Think of the 3 reasons why you want this so bad. And then what are you going to do to get this mind score up? And Cheryl just mentioned it. I'm going to meditate. I'm going to do my breathing exercises. I'm going to do my personal growth. I'm going to journal. I'm going to read. Well, actually, what the word we like using is rehearsing our plan. So everything we've done today is a plan. So we want to rehearse that, go through our minds, and actually see and visualize that this is a 10, that all these things have made it to where we want to get to, and visualizing New Year's Eve, that my life score is a 7.6. And rehearsing that is the key to manifesting and making that happen. So we do the same thing for spirit. I'm so grateful and excited that I now have built this amazing relationship with God, that my vibrational level has made it to a 500 or above. That I'm living in this attitude of gratitude all the time now. Why was that important? Write down the 3 reasons for you that is the most important thing to you. And what steps am I going to take to make that happen? Cheryl mentioned reading out of scripture reading scripture every single day, praying or being in prayer every single day. So there's a lot of things you can do to make this spiritual score go up. State. So happy and grateful, excited. I'm so grateful and excited that I now live in a 10 peak state all the time. Why do I want that? I realize that my state impacts everything in my life. So why, I'm not going to let myself walk around in this negative low energy state anymore. You know, I know the kind of impact that's having on my family and on my life. And then
And
what
on
could
this
you,
one for me, Paul, like the map for me on that one, like I struggled with it first, but then I was like one of the big things that I did is I absolutely will not watch the news. Like
Yes.
and if it's on in my house, it's going off the minute I walk in, and everybody knows we are not watching that.
yep.
So it
Absolutely.
could be things you're not going to do or not going to allow into your life. Like another one too that I thought of is you don't need to like watch movies where the whole thing is all about killing, right? Because that's not going to help your state, right? And so just stuff like that, like you just come up with stuff for you. And I love this, that the map can be whatever you believe will help you get to that next level.
Yeah. Overall, moving, you know, they say
Yes.
sitting is the new smoking.
Yes.
So it's getting up and moving. If your state's down, it's because you're not moving enough. You're not breathing deeply. You know,
Yeah.
it's the music you're listening to. Find music that's upbeat, that changes the way you feel and move. It's like Cheryl mentioned, the breathing, deep breathing. People who are in a peak state breathe deep. They don't breathe shallow. So start breathing deeper. Like there's just small little things you can do to really make this go up within minutes. Career. The
That's a
result
good
I
one,
want my
Karen.
career is to make this impact, you know, to feel fulfilled. You know, I'm so happy and grateful that this has happened. The reason I want this is this, this, and this. And again, it can be because I really want this because I hate my job. I hate going to work every day. I mean, that's okay to be upset about your current career situation, that you don't feel like you're living on purpose. And then what do I need to do? You know, we, with the Institute of Holistic Health and the health coaches, we developed a map on what do I need to do daily to make my business grow. We just actually this past week, we talked about the 3 keys, the 3 things to do daily that will make my business grow.
And so those 3 things really should go into your map.
They are your map. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We put 5 down here. There may only be 1 or 2 or 3, you know, so we just,
You don't have, yeah, if you don't have 5 for each, you don't need to have 5, but just come up with at least 2 or 3 so that you can stay on track. That's why.
Yeah. Now, some of these may have more, but let's just talk about the first 5 things you need to do. Let's not get, you know, what are the things we can do this week that will move the needle in this area. Same thing with your finances. I'm so grateful and excited that I now am making this much per month or this much per year, that I have this much in my savings account, and that I finally have paid off all my debt and I'm living debt free. So it's reading that statement and it's feeling that emotion that, wow, so how would I feel if I got to that income, had no debt, and had this in my savings account? I mean, it's a great feeling. So it's feeling that really helps the manifestation process, or is the manifestation process. Why is that important? Why is having that savings important? Why is having that kind of income coming in important? And why is getting to 0 debt important to you? So I'd come up with one purpose for each one. And again, it can be a negative or positive one. And now what are the steps you need to take to change your financial, you know, maybe it's changing. Number one is I got to change my career. I have to start, you know, and again, we encourage people to become a health coach and help our crusade in helping people really master these 8 areas of life. And we believe that holistic health comes from getting all of these areas healthy finances, healthy career, healthy relationships, you know, healthy spiritual life, healthy, you know, mental health is a huge topic out there, emotional health. So all these things is what our health coaches do. So maybe it's becoming a certified holistic health coach, you know, get back with the person that invited you here, and they will help you do that and explain to you more about what that's about. You know, another thing, non-negotiable for me, 10% of my income goes straight into savings. The first 10%, not the last 10%, whatever left over, 10% off the top into savings. Start someplace. You can set that up, and then just about every bank out there has some kind of program you can set up where they automatically will do that for you. and then come up with a financial plan to pay off the debt. Okay, here's my credit cards. Here, I got these 5 credit cards, and these are the balances on each one. You know, let's just lay out the truth where we're at. Let's pay off the one that's got the least balance on it. Once that's paid off, let's take all the money and start using that to pay off the other ones. And slowly but surely, you can start knocking these credit cards off and getting this debt and balance paid down. We'll go more into that into our Elevate Your Finances retreat, and actually that's a course we teach, and really help people do that. Lifestyle. So we have this. I'm so happy and excited and grateful that I have this lifestyle, that I'm able to buy and do whatever I want. I can travel wherever I want. Again, it's always referring back to this page here, and seeing what are the things that maybe, you know, you purchase multiple homes in multiple countries. You know, whatever it is, and this isn't a lot here. This is just a sentence about your lifestyle that gets you into that feeling of gratitude and excitement. Now, why do we mention those 2 words? Those 2 words vibrate at a level of 700. So back here on Life Score, we talked about being at this vibrational energy. If you vibrated at a level of gratitude and excitement, it would actually be not 500, but 700. So that's why those 2 words and those 2 emotions are so high. Now, being at that level, you're still feeling love, joy, and peace, and reason, and understanding, and all these other things. It's just, you're also, you know, including the excitement and gratitude part of it. Why you want those things, and what is the map? What are the things we can do to start moving in that direction? And then relationships. Last but not least, you know, I'm so happy and grateful that my relationship, my family, my friends, and my spouse has gotten to this level of whatever, 10 or 9 or whatever the goal is that you have, and briefly describe that. Now, why is it important for you to have a great relationship with your family and with your friends and with your spouse? So come up with purpose for each one statement for each one. And then what are the steps that you can take right now? You know, maybe it's visiting some families. You know, I need to pick up the phone right now and call someone in my family that I haven't talked to in a long time. That's going to elevate that score. Yeah,
the map can be very simple. Yeah. Just small things that we can do, right? It doesn't have to be huge. It doesn't at all. It can just be small things. Like one of mine for the thing was like, oh, well, look up my credit score. I want to know what that is so that I can, you know, because that would help my finances if my credit score is really high. So just simple things that you can do. And maybe it's writing a nice note to your spouse. Maybe it's like just being kind. Maybe it's like fixing a problem between you and one of your siblings, maybe from years ago, and just saying, you know what, it's just not worth it. And I'm done and I forgive you, or whatever it is. Right. And so just simple things that you can do to elevate each one of these areas, you know, just a little tiny bit each day. And then I love the wheel because it helps you to focus on, or helps you to know where to focus to make those, to get that wheel running smoothly.
Yeah. And going back to the lifestyle, one thing to put under your map is to fill out the dream list. So when we talked about, back here, when we talked about lifestyle, we talked about home and cars, buy and do whatever you want, travel, not only a lot, but high quality travel, and staying, you know, flying first class to be able to stay in great rooms. So what we did here is we created something called a dream list. This is something we really encourage you to start filling out, which is dreams you have, places you want to travel, homes you want to own, cars you want to buy, things you want to do with your family. So this is a list of dreams that would incorporate all the things that fall under lifestyle. And under here, you can put like within blank years. So like, I want to go see a Super Bowl, you know, so that's within, it's not happening this year, but within the next 3 years, I want to go do that. So you can put the number in wherever or how many years that you want to give yourself for that. And it'll sort things out based on these years so that you'll have all the things that will float to the top that you want to happen sooner than later. Some of these things may be 10 years away from now. You know, I want to own a mansion in, you know, France. I don't know. It's not going to happen this year, but it's going to happen in the next 10 years. You know, so get this dream machine working on that. And that's going to, and I promise you, once you start filling this out, you know, I really encourage you to not stop till at least you have 100 things on this list. Once you have 100 things on this list and you start focusing on it, you're going to be shocked at the things that are going to start happening in your life that are completely unexplainable that make you start checking these things off. You're like, I never thought all this was going to happen, but it did because you brought it to your attention. And that's how manifesting works. So you're never going to make any of this happen until you fill out the list. Another thing we have down here is win. So we talked about the life score, and we talked about moving up, and we talked about having map and different things we're going to do. But every day I always sit down and say, what are my wins that I want to have for today? You know, so this goes into a little bit finite things that I can do. And then in this, looking at like maybe 2 areas that you really want to work on. So, you know, let's say it's my finances that I really want to work on. I'm going to sit down and figure out how much all my bills are, how much credit, you know, I owe, my credit cards added up, come up with a credit card payoff plan. You know, if I did that, that's a win for today. If that's something I really want to do today, is figure that out. You know, so whatever it is, it's something extremely small that you can do today that you consider a win. Now, if you get 3 wins a day, there's 365 days in a year. That means you're going to have over 1,000 small, tiny wins a year. And those small, tiny wins is what makes people have a life score of 10. It's not big monster things that you've accomplished in life. It's little small things that you fill in on this win sheet that make all the difference. So I never go to bed at night. Now, tomorrow, before I go to bed tonight, I'm going to have these 3 things filled out, my 3 wins for tomorrow.
So you fill them out early. You fill them out the day before. The night before is when you fill in your wins for tomorrow.
Yes.
Okay.
But does it always work out that way? Tomorrow comes and I didn't do 2 of those, but 2 other things happened that were good. So I put those in. But it's good to have the intention leading into it, leading into tomorrow. But things don't always work out perfect. But I promise I do not go to bed until I will not go to bed tonight without 3 things filled out in the 120 slot. There's 3 things that happen good today. I promise you, every single day in your life, you're just not recognizing them because you're spending time thinking about the other 7 things that didn't go wrong, that went wrong, or the couple things that went wrong. You're thinking about those things instead of all the things that went right. In the average day, we probably have 10 or 15 things that go good, but we focus on the one thing that went wrong. And that's
the one thing we didn't get done.
The one thing we didn't get done. So this is we're going to talk a lot this year about rewiring your brain, doing exercises like this. Like, Paul, this is stupid. Why would I want to write down my wins? This is, yeah, well, for years and years, I write down 1,000 wins a year. How do you think my brain's wired? What do you think my brain's looking for? My brain's looking for wins. That's why I win all the time. My brain is focused on gratitude because I write in this for decades. I wrote all the things I'm grateful for. I rewired my brain to look for things to be grateful for. So part of rewiring your brain is being intentional and writing these things down. Why do I have so many of my dreams come true? Well, because I have a dream list and I'm focused on this. Where focus goes, energy flows. So of course I'm achieving my dreams because I have a list and I'm focused on checking them off. Half the battle is coming up with the list. All right. So all that may have been a little bit overwhelming. Cheryl and I were prepared for some people to wonder, like, hey, this was awesome. Like, I could see the power behind this. But I'm a little confused. Or I need a little bit more. Now, first of all, we're going to be here every Saturday to help you review what's going on and see how things are going. And this was just day 1. We want to get things sort of situated here and kind of introduce you to this concept. What Cheryl and I have been planning for a long, long time, and we've done a couple of these already, and we have some people on here, especially Becca, that's been to these retreats in the past. And maybe we'll have Becca come on and talk about these ELEV8 retreats and these beach retreats in the Outer Banks that we do. How valuable, Becca, was coming to those beach retreats that you were at?
I think they were absolutely fantastic because of the energy. I mean, there's one section in this that really talks about, you know, the energy, the vibration. You're getting around people that are wanting to also elevate their vibration and their energy. They have a focus on helping people. They have that energy that the nutrition in itself brings into the body, that's then has that positive energy that's just working on at the cellular level. So I absolutely love the retreats, and if we could have one every 2 months, I would be there.
Yeah.
I would make sure that happened.
They're definitely impactful. I know, Jill, you've been to them too. What's been your experience from going to the retreats in the Outer Banks?
Oh, it was just absolutely amazing, life-changing. I mean, the boost that you get in your energy, in your spirit, in your vibe was just incredible. And being able to be close with like-minded people, and it's just, I can't recommend it enough. If whatever you have to do to get there, whatever terms they lay out, you want to do it because it was really life-changing, I think. Awesome.
Thanks. It was life-changing for us too. I mean, Cheryl and I love being around people. So being around you and everyone that came, and I remember like all the walks we took on the beach every morning. We started all our mornings off with the walk on the beach. And for those of you that aren't familiar, the Outer Banks is in North Carolina. It's a very special place that has these enormous homes. And we've had homes, Cheryl, like how many? I think we had a home that was 30 bedrooms. How many?
24 bedrooms. 24 master bedrooms.
Yeah. So they're enormous, and we're planning this retreat for April. Cheryl, why don't you tell us more about this retreat? Because I know.
Can I just say one thing before you do that? Because I forgot to say it. I enjoyed it so much that it's on my vision board as something I would personally like to do, is be able to host retreats for people, right? That people an extension of the customers I meet. I meet so many different people that have so many problems in this area. They have so many things that they need to work on, and I would actually like to be able to open that up and to host my own to the people I meet. And it's on my vision board. Thank you.
Yeah, this is our dream too, is to hold these things, and you know, if there's a time, Jill, that you want to do this for your team or whatever, we'd be happy to do that and help you with that. But we've been putting together an extension of this class today. This kind of our purpose today was, our goal today was to get you started with the life score and a little bit of RPM to get things going. But Shelley, you want to talk to us about the why you love the beach so much, and getting together as a team, and the things that we'll be able to accomplish as once we all together?
Oh yeah, well I think that's the most important part is all coming together, and I think something that can't happen anywhere else. I mean, I like Zoom, don't get me wrong, I think that's fun, I like to see everybody, but really getting together for 3 or 4 days, I think that the relationships that you build, and the I don't really want to say the help, but I guess the support that there is for each person, and the things that you learn is, you know, it escalates like 1,000% when you go in person and when you can come in person. And I love that we're gonna, you know, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna just like go to the next step. So the April event will be, you've already done this part, right? So now the April event will be the next step on this journey to help you put things into place. One of the big things will be, we'll do you'll write your story. right? That's very important. So you'll write a story, your story for each area of the wheel. And we've already got a good start with that. We'll do vision board. I love to do vision. That's like one of my favorite things to do is the vision boards. So we'll do that. We'll do that at a retreat, but we'll have all sorts of different retreats, and there in April, it will be the next step. So it'll be like it's the Elevate Your Life retreat. So that's what will happen in April, and we'll put it out there. I think that, Paul, what did we decide on how many people? We're kind of trying to figure out like the amount of people that we can allow to come to each retreat.
So these houses are enormous in the Outer Banks. We've actually found two. One is like almost a resort.
Yeah, it's 36,
so it has
36 rooms.
Yeah, it has 36 rooms in it.
And it's brand new.
Yeah, just finished being built. So the dates for Sweet asked what the dates are. They're April 10th through the 14th. And so as Cheryl mentioned, we'll go over what we've already done today with you to make sure that you got that perfect life score and the RPM correct. We'll go over the dream list. I love working with, as Cheryl mentioned, with a group of people and helping build that dream list up, writing your story, and then the vision board, as Cheryl mentioned. But also, so there's two halves of this. There's the half of what we're kind of working on now, and this all goes under plan. But the first half of plan is designing the life you want. But the second half is actually sort of more important, which is becoming the type of person that can live that life. So it's breaking that or creating that new identity. And there's things you have to inside of you that you need to have a shift on. And what's going to happen, and what happens to everyone we work with, is they're able to get clear on the life they want for the first time, which is now puts you in the top 1% of the population, because most people don't even know what kind of life they want. So that's a huge step. But the reason why a lot of people design the life they want but don't actually ever get to live it is because they have to become the type of person that can do that. And what we mean by that is, you know, Cheryl mentioned before, having that shift in your identity. You know, what qualities does that person have? What thoughts do they think? You know, we know that the average person thinks 60,000 thoughts in a day. Well, what are those thoughts consist of? We want to pre-think or pre-plan what those thoughts are going to be. What are your beliefs? What kind of beliefs does a person have that has a score of a health score of 100? What beliefs do they have if their weight's perfect, if their dress size is perfect? You know, what kind of thoughts and beliefs are going through there? What kind of values do they have? What are they associating pleasure to in their life? What are they associating pain to in their life? You know, what meaning are they giving to things? What kind of promises are they making themselves? Are they promising themselves that they're going to drink 100 ounces of water a day? Yeah. Are they promising themselves they're going to exercise every day? Yeah. So there's promises they're making to themselves, and there's promises they're making to other people. There's standards they're setting in their life. There's a certain level of certainty. They're taking massive action. They have this peak state that they're able to get into. They're great at time management. So there's all these different characteristics that go into that type of person. And what Cheryl and I help people do, and the reason why we love retreats so much, is because it's a full immersion. You know, this is, you're all in. I mean, this is 24/7. We're dipping you in, and you're coming out. We're rewiring you, and you're coming out a new person. And it's not just coming out a new person, but we're going to help support you along the way afterwards in our tribe to make sure that that sticks. Because what we've seen in the past is people come to these types of retreats, they have these massive changes, but then when they leave, slowly but surely, they start going back to the old identity that they had before. We do not want that to happen. We want you to slowly but surely take on this new identity and make these shifts in you so that you can become the type of person you want to become and live the life you want to live. But it's going to take some work. And this is a mandatory retreat. That's the next step for everybody. It's kind of like our date with destiny, but you know, it's not just date with destiny, but we've taken things from Dr. Joe Dispenza and Brendan Bouchard and Ed Millett and dozens of other people and combined them all together. And Cheryl and I have designed the one retreat that really we believe is going to help people, because we think everything else has some good points to it, but it was missing some things. And we've taken all of those best ideas from other people, put them into a blender, and made what we feel is the absolute perfect 4-day experience for a human being to go to. If you're really serious about creating the life you want and becoming that person that you want to become, and becoming that version of a person that you know you can become, that God made you to become. So we're super excited about that. You can go to elevateyourlifeevents.com. That's elevateyourlifeevents.com. And all of this it's not on elevateyourlife.com yet, but it will be. That link will be on there. But we made a special link for today, elevateyourlifeevents.com. If you just make a deposit of $100, it'll get you involved or reserve your spot in it. There's only 30 spots available on this. That's the biggest house that's available, that's ever been built, actually. And we have 3,000 people that we're inviting. So definitely space is limited, and there's no major commitment today. It's just a deposit of $100 to make. We will contact you. Now, the cool thing about this retreat, which is different than all the other retreats you may have gone on in the past, is you don't have to pay for your room. You don't have to pay for your food, because when I go to a Tony Robbins event, it's $10,000, but that does not cover my room and does not cover any food or flight or any of that other stuff. So this is going to cover at least your room and your food while you're there. So these houses are multi-million-dollar houses. So it costs an enormous amount of money to rent this house and to provide the food and so forth. So we're doing this. We're doing all we can to keep the price of this extremely low, but also offer an event that you'll remember for the rest of your lives. I mean, Becca and Jill and others that have gone to this, it wasn't just last year, this is years ago that we did this. They still remember it today like it was yesterday. I mean, these are lifetime memories you're going to have from going to this event. And it's just doing something for yourself that's going to make a huge difference for your future by coming to this. Do you want to add anything else, Cheryl?
No, that was awesome.
Cool. Well, we want to leave you with another video before we depart here today. It's a short video. It's 1 minute long. And it really, to me, let me stop this for a second here.
Oh, I will say one more thing, Paul, that you might have said, but I'm not sure. So after you put the $100 deposit down, then we will interview you, because we are not just going to let anyone come. Paul and I will interview you on a Zoom interview to make sure that we're all on the same page, I guess. Right. So I just want to make sure that we also said that. And if for some reason, I can't imagine what that would be with anybody on this call, but if for some reason it's not a fit, or you decide it's not a fit for you, then your $100 is refundable, 100% refundable. So I just wanted to throw that out there. And yeah, the events or the retreats to me are, like everyone said, life-changing. And it's like my favorite thing to do. It's what I always want to do, because exactly what I said. I think that the bonds and friendships that you create there are unlike any other. And it's with people who are on the same journey as you. And so the whole thing elevates just that much more, because you're in a situation where you are with people who are on the same journey as you and who want the same thing for you that they want for themselves. So I just wanted to throw that in.
Absolutely. All right, let's end with this video. It's 1 minute long, and we saw this video just a couple of days ago, and we really we put it out to the universe about how can we describe what this Elevate Tribe is about, and what it's going to take to really make your life the way you want it to, and become the person you want to. And I just think this 1 minute video really encapsulates all that. So we want to end with this, and thank you all for coming. We'll get this recording up. You can send it to people and share this with people. And again, we'll be meeting every Saturday to go over where you're at, what you've done this past week, and how much progress you've made in elevating your life. So let me do one last screen share here.
Getting better isn't a hack or a trick or a one change that you need to make. Getting better is a campaign. It's a campaign. It's a daily, a weekly, it's an hourly fight. An incessant fight that doesn't stop against weakness and against temptation and against laziness. It's a campaign of discipline. It's a campaign of hard work and dedication. It's waking up early and going to bed late and grinding out every second in between. Every single day. So, you want to get better? You want to self-improve? Stop looking for a shortcut and go find your alarm clock and find your discipline and find your guts and your passion and your drive and find your will. And then you will find your freedom.
Yeah, nothing changes and nothing changes, man.
All right, that was awesome. Thanks everybody for coming. Hope this was valuable to you. We love to hear your feedback about all of this. And we will see you, well, if you're a health coach, we'll see you on Monday. But otherwise, we'll see you here next Saturday on the Elevate Tribe. We'll get that link out to here. And we will continue helping you elevate your life every day.
Is that going to be the same time every Saturday? My Sunday, 4 a.m.
We'll work on that. We'll come up with a specific time on that. We'll let you know. Okay, everybody.
Thanks, you guys.
Thank you.
Take care.
Have a great rest of your weekend.
Love you, love you, love you. Thank you
Half
so
over
much.
already.